Welcome to Threshold, a place where we explore the sacred in the ordinary and the beauty in the in-between. I'm Molly Wilcox. I'm a wife, a mom, a writer, and your guide as we step over life's thresholds together. Whether you've been reading my newsletter for years or you're just discovering Threshold here, I'm so glad that you're listening. Together, we reflect on faith, creativity, and the small but meaningful ways we're being transformed in the everyday. Let's dive into this week's reflection. I used to feel like I was a bad friend if I didn't have a lot of people around me. I felt like there was strength in numbers, and in a world where a social media following is a status symbol, I thought maybe if I had a big, fun, picture-perfect friend group, that meant I was included, surrounded, and even popular. When I was in transitional seasons of friendships, I always felt this familiar shame well up. Was there something wrong with me? Why were my friendship circles dwindling? But over the past few years, I've settled into confidence in who I am as a friend, as I've realized I don't need more friends. I need the right friends. I have lost a lot of friendships in my 20s, and statistically, that's normal. This stage of life often pulls people in different directions, and even when we want to hang on to friendships, sometimes circumstances drive us to let go. While one friend is married with 3 kids, another is swiping on dating apps and praying for a promotion. I used to try to convince myself these differences shouldn't matter, that friendship could transcend life's circumstances. But the reality is, for me, that these things do have an impact. And then I went through trauma. My pregnancy and birth experience changed me in ways I couldn't have predicted. My body and my mind needed time and space to heal. And in that process, my friendships shifted and adjusted too. This time, it wasn't a job change or a move. It was a deeper shift in what I was walking through. I had to learn some hard lessons: how to protect a story, who to entrust a story to, who to hold at arm's length, and who to give a front row seat invitation to. There was a defining moment in many of my friendships. I saw the strengths of my different friends up close as they met me in different ways, being the literal hands and feet of Jesus to me. I also got a close-up look at some things I didn't want to experience, sometimes leaving conversations lonely, hurt, and confused. Sometimes I blamed myself. Again, hearing the ache of the question, am I a bad friend? I wondered if I was too sensitive, too distant, too much. But then there was this one particular defining moment. I had a hard conversation with a close friend. I told her nervously about how something she said hurt me. I braced for rejection, excuses, or defensiveness. But instead, she apologized. She shared her perspective while still giving me permission to have my experience of her previous words. We were able to walk through the conversation with honor and walk away from it with a stronger friendship. I felt like I had collected a moment of proof that friendships can withstand hard conversations. Of course, this wasn't how every experience went. I fumbled through learning what my boundaries were in certain friendships and learned where I was willing to make sacrifice and where I determined I didn't need to. I started to feel like I had a small yet mighty group of people around me, the kind of people you really want with you in the trenches and feel like they will give you the perfect dose of honesty and truth while still being sensitive and caring. They are people who love deeply and show up when it matters most. We can cry together and we laugh together too. Some friendships faded naturally and others ended in ways that left hurtful wounds. In some cases, I admit that I probably tried to hold on for too long. At times, I felt afraid to release a friendship that didn't feel right to me anymore. It felt scary to think about being lonely, but whenever I let someone out of my life, I found that God would bring a new friendship in just the right time. Today, I don't have a massive friend group, but I have people I can trust to show up on my hardest days. I have friends who don't just say what I want to hear, but offer truth, kindness, and patience. I can show up to my friendships without fear or shame. I joked with my husband that I can only be friends with people who have been to therapy. It's not entirely true, but what I can say is true of my friends is that they understand and know themselves. Good, bad, and everything in between. I found I like being around people who have done the hard work of understanding their own hearts because it shows me that they are a safe place for mine. I have shifted from wanting a crowd to cherishing a few. I don't need a big group of people to feel seen, secure, or like I'm a good friend. I need the right people, the people who God has placed in my life for right now. Some of them will be lifelong friends. Others will only last a season. But we are committed to making each other feel seen, safe, and loved. Now that I know what this kind of friendship feels like, I can recognize quickly when it's missing. Letting go of friendships can still be painful, but holding on to the right ones, that is a gift worth everything. Thanks for spending time with me today on Threshold. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend, subscribe, or leave a review. It all helps so much. And if you're not already part of the community, you can join the conversation by subscribing to my weekly newsletter on Substack, Threshold by mollywilcox.substack.com. Until next time, let's keep finding beauty in the in-between.